Today we are going to dive into a topic that affects each and every one of us. How do we deal with pain and suffering? How do we find the strength to carry on when life puts us through difficult challenges? These are questions that have troubled humanity for centuries. But there is a philosophy that offers us wise and time-tested answers: Stoicism. Have you ever wondered how Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, coped with enormous responsibility and endless challenges? Or how Epictetus, born a slave, found the strength to become one of the greatest philosophers of all time? Their secret lies in Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to accept life as it is and to find inner strength in all circumstances. If you want to learn how these great men dealt with pain and suffering and how their wisdom can help you today, then this video is for you. We will break down the key principles of Stoicism that will help you cope with life's challenges, find peace and harmony within yourself. You'll learn how to accept the inevitable, stay calm in chaos, and find joy in the simplest things. Stay with us until the end, and you will not only gain deep knowledge, but also powerful motivation to start applying Stoic principles in your life today. We are confident that this video will help you become stronger, wiser, and happier. Stoicism teaches us to accept life as it is and to find the strength to cope with difficulties. At the center of Stoic philosophy is the idea that we cannot control external events, but we can control our attitude toward them. How often do we worry about things that are beyond our power to change? Acceptance of the inevitable. Acceptance of the inevitable is one of the basic principles of Stoicism. How can we change our perceptions so that we don't waste energy on things that are beyond our control? When Marcus Aurelius wrote his Reflections, he constantly reminded himself that everything that happens as it should, and this principle helped him maintain inner peace in the most difficult situations. Have you ever pondered the words of Marcus Aurelius? A man's life is what he thinks of it. Why do we so often let external circumstances determine our inner state? This principle teaches us to accept the inevitable and not waste energy fighting what we cannot change. Accepting the inevitable does not mean passivity or inaction. It means realizing that there are things we cannot change, and therefore it is not worth wasting our energy on them. What can we do to focus our energies on what is truly in our hands? Accepting the inevitable helps us focus on what really matters and stop wasting energy on useless worries. Separation of inner and outer. The Stoics divided everything in life into two categories: that which is within our power and that which is outside our power. How can we learn to distinguish between these categories and focus on what really matters? This practice helps us avoid unnecessary worry and focus on those aspects of life that we can control. Epictetus said, "Learn the distinction between what is in your power and what is out of it, and act accordingly." How often do we worry about other people's opinions, about the weather, about events we can't influence? This principle reminds us that our inner state is up to us, and we can choose how to respond to external circumstances. When we recognize this separation, we begin to feel more confident and at peace. Why does inner peace become more stable when we are no longer dependent on external circumstances? The separation of inner and outer helps us to find inner peace and confidence, even when external circumstances change. Coping with suffering. The Stoics believe that suffering is an inevitable part of life, and our task is to learn how to cope with it. How can suffering be a test of the soul and an opportunity for growth? Every time we face hardship, we have the opportunity to learn something new and become stronger. Seneca wrote, "Suffering is a trial for the soul, and it is in these trials that we become stronger." How can we use our hardships to become wiser and stronger? Suffering can be a source of wisdom and strength if we learn to accept it with gratitude and use it as an opportunity for growth. When we face difficulties, we can either succumb to them or we can use them to grow. What choice will you make when faced with another challenge? Learning to endure suffering helps us not only to cope with difficulties, but also to find in them a source of strength and wisdom. Practice gratitude. One of the key Stoic principles is the practice of gratitude. How does gratitude help us focus on the positive aspects of our lives? Gratitude teaches us to appreciate what we already have and not to complain about what we don't have. The Stoics taught that we should be grateful for all that we have and not complain about what we don't have. How often do we forget to appreciate what we already have and chase unattainable ideals? Practicing gratitude helps us to focus on the positive aspects of our lives and find joy in the simplest things. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Gratitude is the greatest virtue." How does practicing gratitude help us find joy in the simplest things? When we learn to be grateful for all that we have, we begin to see the world from a new perspective and become happier every day. Self-control and discipline. The Stoics believed that self-control and discipline were the keys to inner peace and happiness. Epictetus said, "Freedom is not that you can do whatever you want, but that you are not dependent on your desires." This approach implies that we must control our desires and emotions so that we don't become their slaves. To learn how to control our desires and emotions, it is important to develop mindfulness. This can be done through regular meditation and introspection, which help us realize what is really important and what is just a fleeting desire. Self-control and discipline help us maintain inner peace and confidence, even when external circumstances change. When we learn to control our desires, we become freer and calmer. For example, the practice of delaying instant gratification for the sake of long-term goals can greatly improve our lives. This can apply to both physical needs, such as eating or sleeping, and emotional needs, such as the desire for recognition or approval. To strengthen self-control and discipline, it's helpful to create small habits that require minimal effort but produce significant results. For example, exercising in the morning, meditating before bed, or keeping a gratitude journal. These actions help establish an internal rhythm and structure your day, which promotes better control over your emotions and desires. By progressively working on yourself, you can achieve a high level of self-discipline, which will be the basis for inner peace and harmony. Meditation and introspection. The Stoics practiced meditation and introspection to better understand themselves and their thoughts. Regular reflection on our lives helps us become wiser and better. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Examine yourself, your thoughts and actions, and you will find the key to inner peace." Meditation helps us to focus on the present moment and calm the mind, which is especially important in our times when we are often overwhelmed with information and stress. Meditation and self-reflection help us become aware of our thoughts and feelings and make informed decisions. When we practice meditation, we learn to observe our thoughts and feelings without identifying with them. This enables us not to react impulsively, but to act consciously and intelligently. For example, if we feel anger, instead of reacting immediately, we can pause, take a deep breath, and think about the situation. This helps us avoid conflict and maintain inner peace. Self-reflection also involves regularly rethinking your goals and values. Writing down your thoughts and experiences in a journal can be a powerful tool for self-reflection. It helps to identify recurring patterns of behavior and emotions that may be hindering our development. Understanding our thoughts and feelings is important for our inner growth, as it allows us to act more consciously and make decisions that are in alignment with our true values. Practicing meditation and introspection also helps us develop patience and tolerance with ourselves. We learn to accept our weaknesses and work on them without judging ourselves for mistakes. This provides a foundation for personal growth and a better quality of life. Acting in accordance with the virtues. The Stoics believed that we should live according to the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. These virtues help us make good decisions and live in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. Seneca wrote, "Virtue is the only path to true happiness." The pursuit of virtue can make us happy and fulfilled, as it gives meaning to our actions and helps us find joy in life. Wisdom allows us to see things in their true light and make decisions based on common sense and experience. Courage helps us to face challenges and not be afraid of failure. Fairness allows us to act with honesty and respect for others. Moderation helps us avoid extremes and maintain balance in our lives. Living in accordance with the virtues helps us find inner peace and confidence. For example, if we act justly, we will not feel guilt or shame, which can destroy our inner peace. Moderation helps us not to give in to excessive desires and passions, which promotes inner harmony. Courage allows us not to fear change and to accept it as a natural part of life. Wisdom helps us to realize that true happiness does not depend on external circumstances, but is within us. The principle of acting in accordance with the virtues also helps us build stronger and more trusting relationships with others. People who see our honesty, fairness, and courage will reach out to us and trust us more, which helps create a harmonious community. Inner freedom is the ability to remain calm and confident regardless of external circumstances. Epictetus said, "You are free if you can remain calm, despite external circumstances." Inner freedom allows us to be independent of other people's opinions and external circumstances. It helps us to remain calm and confident in all situations. When we gain inner freedom, we become more confident and calm. This state allows us not to react to provocations and not to give in to negative emotions. Inner freedom helps us live a more conscious and happy life, as we stop worrying about things we can't control and focus on what's really important. Practicing inner freedom involves accepting what we can't change and actively pursuing what we can. For example, we can't change the weather or the behavior of others, but we can change our attitude toward these things. Instead of worrying and getting irritated, we can take them for granted and focus on our reactions and actions. Inner freedom helps us find peace and harmony, even when external circumstances change. Epictetus also taught that true freedom lies in the ability to control our desires and passions. When we can control our reactions to external events, we gain true freedom and independence. This state of inner freedom allows us to be ourselves and to live in accordance with our principles and values without succumbing to external pressures. The example of the great Stoics. Stoicism offers us many examples of great people who dealt with pain and suffering. The examples of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca inspire us to apply Stoic principles to our own lives. Marcus Aurelius, as Roman emperor, faced many hardships but remained true to his Stoic principles. His life can serve as an example for us in how to remain calm and wise in difficult situations. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, shows that inner freedom can be found in any circumstance. His life can serve as an example for us in finding strength and wisdom within ourselves despite external circumstances. Seneca, as an advisor to Nero, showed that Stoic principles can help us maintain dignity and wisdom even in the most difficult and dangerous situations. Studying the lives of the great Stoics helps us find inspiration and strength to overcome our own difficulties. These examples show that Stoicism is not just a philosophy, but a practical way of life that can help us become better and wiser. The examples of the great Stoics are important for our inner growth because they show that inner peace and harmony are possible, even when external circumstances are difficult and unpredictable. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca are united by their desire for self-improvement and their ability to maintain inner peace in all circumstances. These examples help us realize that Stoicism offers effective methods and strategies for achieving inner peace and freedom. By following their example, we can learn to cope with all of life's difficulties and find joy and harmony in our daily lives. We hope that these principles have inspired you and helped you see new opportunities for growth and development. Remember that Stoicism is not just a philosophy, but a way of life that can make you stronger, wiser, and happier. These principles, imbued with the wisdom of the ancient Stoics, serve as a guiding light in our quest for harmony and inner peace. They remind us that true success is not measured by external achievements, but by inner stability and the ability to remain calm in all circumstances. Each of these principles, whether it is the ability to accept the inevitable or to focus on the present moment, opens new horizons of self-development before us. They teach us to appreciate each day, each moment, and to look at the world with wisdom and an open heart. We find the strength to overcome difficulties, to become better and wiser. May these principles be a source of inspiration and motivation for you. May they help you find inner peace and self-confidence. Life is a journey full of challenges and opportunities, and by following these Stoic principles, you will be able to walk this journey with dignity and wisdom. Thank you for spending this time with us, delving into the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. We hope you have found not only helpful advice here, but also inspiration for the journey ahead. May Stoicism be your trusted companion on this journey, helping you to cope with difficulties and rejoice in each day.